Exactly. It all comes full circle.
Yeah. But those were interesting times. I remember we had a music video that we shot for a song that I did on my album called Lamp City Family. And I don't even know if this music video is even still up on the internet, because so many things got fucked up back then, because like that was in such a weird time for record labels where they didn't understand how to like put music on YouTube and social media. And like it was a whole thing where it's like, oh, like if it's not the album, like don't put it on iTunes, just have it out for free. And nowadays everyone's like, why the fuck would you do that? Like you're just losing out on making money.
Right.
But there was just, that's a side tangent, but there was just so much shit like that used to happen back then, where it's like you just kind of put out some songs and like use it as like a promo buzz thing.
Yeah.
But it never got put on, any of the streaming services or anything like that. But I remember we did this video for this song Lamp City Family, and we had Tim knew some guy who was working at one of these like super nice hotels in the city. Yeah. And so we rented like a suite at the hotel for this music video, and Atlantic Records had given us like $5,000 for a budget for the video. And we were like 18, 19 years old. Maybe Tim was like 21 at the time. And we took the $5,000, basically, gave it to the videographer, spent some money on like alcohol and a bunch of other shit, rented out this like suite at this super nice hotel in Boston, and just threw an absolute crazy party at this hotel suite with like 50 people. Yeah. All those people that you were kind of mentioning from that time period in Boston, like all the different musicians that were coming up at that time period. And it was just an absolute shit show. And we had no business being in that hotel at all. It was like a super fancy hotel. And the kid came up and he's like, dude, I'm going to lose my job. Like, this is so fucked up. And you look at like the music video, and we're just like smoking blunts in the video, just in the kind of trashing the hotel room. Yeah. And it's just crazy, because I would just never do anything like that now. But at the time you were just young and just didn't realize the repercussions of your actions. And it was just one of those things that kind of got out of hand, because it was the group effect.
Yeah. You tell a few people, and then they tell a few people. And
yeah. And nobody would act like that on their own, but because they're all in the group, they all want to act crazy.
Right.
And we just had no business being there. And I think everybody was just super excited about that and just like was acting out of pocket. But eventually I think they had to like call security. We ended up getting kicked out of the hotel, couldn't even stay at the hotel that night. And it was a whole thing. And I just remember being like, man, like this is so ridiculous. Like, why am I even with a record label? They just like basically have no idea what's going on in terms of making these videos or doing anything. We just spent $5,000 and pretty much just like threw a party, right? And got in trouble for it. And now we don't even really have a viable music video, but fuck it.
You made it work though?
We made it work. We put out the video, but there was a lot of lessons like that we learned. And me and Tim has some good stories on that front.
Not to change the topic, but while you were telling me that video just popped in my head. What was the one you shot where you were like in masks and you were like throwing vegetables?
Yeah, that was the cut me off video, and that was the day that I met Tim, because we did a little promo interview for that video.
I remember seeing that video everywhere. I was like, yo, this shit is fire. And obviously like that song, you had sampled it at the perfect time.
Right.
And that hook is just, that song in general is just gold. But I remember seeing that on like all the blogs and stuff. I was like, damn, this shit is crazy.
That was a fun one.
Mm-hmm. Was that while you were on the label, or was that?
Yeah, that one came about because that was before the Lamp City album came out, and I was with the label, and they were helping me try and kind of get some buzz going. And actually, the dude who signed me at the label, he emailed me one night, and he was like, you should remix this song. And so then we figured out how to kind of flip the sample. And I basically just, I remember, I think I wrote that whole song like in my mom's kitchen at the time on my phone.
Yeah.
And recorded it, It was kind of just one of those, I mean, I'm sure you know how it is. Like randomly, a song will just kind of come about, and it was just because the beat was so good and that song was so catchy at the moment that I
Right.
made it. That it was, the work had already been done for me in a lot of ways, and so I think I just kind of wrote some verses onto it, and then the video came about, and me and my friend Multiple Pete's kind of just came up with the whole video concept to just fuck around and like put those different masks on and just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was kind of just like a random idea that was referencing a lot of the shit that was going on at the time.
Hmm.
And we were just fucking young and being trying to be creative and trying to fucking figure out how to like work with a label too, which was like really stressful.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's how the best stuff happens sometimes. A lot of the times, at least I mean, I'm sure it's case to case, but like tell me if you can like agree with this, but like some shit like that where you kind of just made on spot versus like something that you've put a ton of planning and work into or like spent way more money on a budget and like you're like this is going to go crazy and then it just like kind of duds out or at least for your expectations as opposed to some shit you just kind of did on the fly and put out, didn't even think twice about it, didn't even know if people would fuck with it, and it just like became way bigger than you thought.
absolutely,
Because those are like
absolutely,
a handful of my biggest songs. I literally have like the same story. I was like, yeah, I wrote this in the studio in like an hour. I filmed the video like same day, and like I just threw it out, and it
yeah,
just like
yeah. For me, it's 100% that, and I think it's when I catch myself in some sort of headspace where I just like really want to speak on something,
yeah,
and it just can't be forced. Like I can sit and make music for 4 hours every day, and I'll get a lot of music made, and it'll be good music, and I can put it out. But for a song to reach that kind of status of something you really feel proud of that you think is great
hmm,
and people that are listening really think it's great, I think most artists only get that every once in a while.
yeah,
And for me it has always been that random spur of the moment inspiration, and it's like 30 minutes 45 minutes of writing the song,
right,
and it just kind of happens. And typically it's happened when I've just been kind of really hit with a lot of emotion about whatever the subject is. And sometimes when it's like a more fun song, it just kind of happens, and it's just probably has a lot to do with the production too. If a beat is really good, I feel like it's really easy to just make a great song
yeah,
sometimes. Like
no,
like
100
sometimes
percent,
and I think producers should get more credit because I think a beat is one of the biggest determiners of whether or not the song is great, right?